Well, this is a little bit of a follow-up, on my last one because time ran out on me. I got up to the point where I was in the Navy. But it's all good. Really want to talk about is my mama. And I made reference to that. And mama's talking. See? That's my mama talking to me. And your great-grandmama talking to you. See, I just got this book in the mail. The Inner Reaches of Outer Space, Joseph Campbell. I read this thing a long time ago when I was in graduate school. Not because I had to. Look, you got pictures and everything. And look, the constellations. Just like my globe up here. Okay. I'm eager to kind of reabsorb that information, for my own edification. And what I got up here on my playlist. I don't know if you can see it. I'll play a little bit of it. Shamika Copeland. I heard it on WMNF because I listen to WMNF, and Tampa radio station, and that's where I heard her at on the. I think it was on the Mo Blues Monday, but this is just a little bit of it. Your mama's talking. You better listen up. Your mama's talking. Your mama's talking. Look, I think it's very, very important to pay attention to your mama. I always paid attention to my mama. I was at my dad's house. I wrote my mom this letter. I made reference to it. Because look, this here, the inner reaches of outer space, metaphor is myth and religion. Here, let me tell you what's in the table of contents. All right. It says, okay. All right. Chapter 1, Cosmology and the Mythic Imagination. Chapter 2, Metaphor is myth and as religion. And then underneath in that chapter, it has it broken down. The problem, metaphor as fact, and fact as metaphor. Metaphor as psychological transformation. Metaphor as, threshold figures. Metaphorical journey. Metaphorical identification. The net gains. Starting to thunder right now. I just seen sports down there. Good, he gets frayed. Chapter 3, the last chapter. The Way of Art. The Way of Art. And then chapter notes, Joseph Campbell bibliography, acknowledgments, index, about the author, about the Joseph Campbell Foundation. Anyway, the very idea, the inner reaches of outer space. Well, look, Earth is considered by most as mother, our Mother Earth. And our mother, is not only just Earth, but it is the universe, the whole planetary system, because that's what we come out of in our physical bodies. Okay? And we from like the minister says when somebody dies at the graveyard, in the graveyard, at the tomb site or whatever you call it. From dust we come, and from dust we come, and to dust we return. Right? Well, look, this is, I typed this out, and I'm glad I typed it out because I have no idea where the real letter is anymore. But I used to have the real letter because when my mom died, I tried to keep all her stuff, but it was very grievous to me how everything just decayed and returned back to dust, the dust from which it came. Well, look, I don't. There's a good Journey song that I'm thinking about right now. It was playing real loud when I entered undergraduate school at Southeastern College in Lakeland, Florida. And it was the Assemblies of God College, not the other bigger one. It was the guy playing, I think it was either Eagles or Journey. I can't. But it has to do with all we are is dust in the wind. Dust in the wind. That's what it was. I haven't listened to it for a long time. I just thought about it now. That's why I can't really remember it. But I'm going to listen to it again, obviously, because I just thought of it. Yeah, dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind. Well, that might not be all we are. There might be a little bit more. Hopefully. Maybe. Look. Dear Mom, this was August 8th, 1973. Yeah. See? A long time ago. 73. 83, 93. 2013. 2023. 42 years ago, because now it's 2025. 40 years ago. Dear Mom, and so I just, it's kind of a gem here. I got this. This is me. I'm writing to my mom. Okay? Like, I'm writing to my mom. There's a certain kind of feeling you get, when you're writing to your mom. Okay? Well, I was only 1973. I was only 11 years old. I was born in '62, June. I was only 11 years old in a month or two. August, June, July, August. 2 months. Not even 2 months. 11 years old. Just turned 11. Dear Mom, it was Brian's birthday a week ago. A day after his party, he had to have 4 stitches because he fell. We went to church Monday at Elder Bennett's church, the one that I gave you the magazine at Easter. And man, everyone was dancing in the spirit there, even my dad. And the floor was going up and down, and people were getting healed. At our church, every time we sing, Miss Puckett sings in the spirit, and it's prettier than the stars at night. At Elder Bennett's church, there's crutches, a wheelchair, glasses for eyes, and the whole bit there that he healed. 3 people got healed there today. Now they're going on a 40-day fast of eating. The whole church. My dad might too. And man, my dad said they don't believe in letting the devil make them sick, so they never are. Our new preacher, if he touches you, you feel the presence of God so much. He touched Bubby, and he received the Holy Ghost. I received the Holy Ghost again, and Jackie did too, at camp. Man, we had a good time. Tell Scott I said hi. And when I come home, I'll give him his birthday present. Sorry I didn't write. I'll be home in a week, I think. Love, Sad. Right? Love, Sad. Well, actually, I included this in my application for clinical pastoral education after I got out of the seminary, and realized that I had to figure out what I was going to do. So I became a chaplain for a while. And then, that's when that's where I left off on the last one, Then I became a chaplain at UVA in Charlottesville, and a patient family counselor. And then I realized that I can hardly help myself, man. How can I help other people? I have so many problems, I was involved then with my youngest boy's mother, and things just didn't work out according to plan. Well, it's not according to my plan of how I wanted things to work out, but the bottom line here is everybody's got a mama. My son Isaac, he's got a mama. His mama's name is Karen. Her name was Karen Wheeler. My Adam and Amber's mother, her name was Lisa Adrian Culp, but she changed it to Michelli because that was her grandfather's name, was Michelli, and her mom married this guy by the last name of Culp, and he didn't last, and she didn't really want to keep the name Culp, so I know eventually she changed it back to Michelli, but I don't know. I don't remember what her dad's name was, but I know that I helped her actually get in touch with her dad because her dad was kind of absent. I remember that experience and how all that happened, and I remember meeting him. But I'm just saying, we have our moms, and your mama's talking. That's what Shanika Coppola was singing. Your mama's talking. All right. Well, you know what? Your grandmama's talking. Really, I was talking to my mom in that letter 40 years ago. Because I knew that that was part of my life back then. I mean, both my mom and my dad became Christians, I mean, look. Now, I'm talking about the Apostle Paul. Maybe he could have saved his head from getting chopped off if he would have, submitted to Nero. And the other ones, they might have left Jesus at the cross, but then they felt bad about it and they reformed their life and they stood their ground. And that was one of my first talks that I did, stand your ground. They stood their ground. They realized that things are not always just as they appear. And sometimes you have to take a stand on either an idea or a principle or a belief or a conviction. You gotta be true to yourself at the time and throughout your life, like as it has happened, to me. I mean, I've said before, and even Paul, who I'm talking about a little bit, he said, when I was a child, I spoke as a child. When I became an adult, I spoke as an adult. Put away childish things. Sometimes, look, I remember my teddy bear. Eh? Well, you know what? My mom helped me take care of my teddy bear. I used to throw my teddy bear, make him go flying because he liked to fly. He liked to fly like down the stairs and stuff like that, He liked to do that, my teddy bear did. He liked to feel the freedom of flight, He liked me to help him out. And my mom, one time his arm got tore off in an accident a little bit, and my mom sewed them back together. Eh? My mom didn't say, your teddy bear's not real. Your teddy bear, she didn't say your teddy bear don't got any feeling. Eh? Now, I kept that teddy bear a long time. And I gave that teddy bear to somebody, one of my nephews, or it was my nephew, one of my grandchildren. I gave it to him. I can't remember who it was. But it meant something, and it was special. It passing on of the baton. The baton, like if you're like when I was in school, I used to run like what's called like the 440 yards. Everybody, you pass the baton off, to the person who's going to take it next, and then they can't go charging, passing off with the baton, Well, kind of like that, I believe in the power of the child's imagination and an adult's imagination. And if we didn't have imagination, we'd be lost. And that's exactly what it says in the book here. Every Brilliant Thing by Duncan Macmillan. See, when he was a little kid, his mom attempted suicide. She didn't feel like she had a reason to live anymore. And, I read part of that, in one of these talks I did. And, but see, what he did is, he made up a whole list of all the brilliant things. And his list, he kept making his list, even up until the time, when he got married. And then when he got, divorced, his, he had a list up in the thousands, like maybe like tens of thousands of all the brilliant things. And then he took them out, all written down on papers and everything, and notebooks and all that, and he threw them away. But his wife, who he was getting divorced from, took them out of the trash and put them somewhere that he would find them later. And he didn't find them like for, I don't know, 10 years, something like that, with a note that she wrote. But, look, this is a good book. It's a little tiny book, but really good play. And I might as a gift get a bunch of these, because it's not that big. It's $7 for people that I want to give gifts to. And it's really that much of a precious kind of book to me. I think it's a good read. It's worthwhile. It gives in there the recipe for, if somebody does commit suicide, how you should respond. Because after people, big stars and stuff, after they commit suicide, the rate of suicide actually goes up. Like other people follow the lead, they commit suicide too. But sidetrack, So my mom, my mom, she meant a lot to me. But when she died sad. Because she had been always like a prayer warrior. Staunch in her faith and determination to go forward, and spirit and faith. And that's where I learned a lot of my inner stuff from, And because I observed her every day. I lived with my mom for the most part. And Uh, when me and my brother, we had different dads, but they both lived in Indiana. One time we came back together, and my mom living in Wisconsin, and when we came into the house, man, she got out of bed, because all she was doing is working and sleeping, I guess. She was crying. Like, she couldn't stand being without us. She hugged us and everything. I'd never forget it. She hugged us, started crying, so happy to see us. Crying. So happy to see us. We meant everything to her. And, when her mom died, she was always praying for like a husband who would love her and stuff, but she never got that. But when her mom died, who she became close to, really close, talked to her every night on the phone. And then my Uncle Buzz, who was the youngest, and he was always around, because he was the youngest. And when he died, and my grandma died, and her marriage wasn't very good. She didn't feel loved, I guess, started drinking. And then there came a time when she quit drinking, gonna like get right with God again, And then she got hit by a truck. Got all crippled up. Hit by a 16-year-old. No, she was in a little truck, a really four-cylinder little truck. I think it was like a Nissan, a little tiny truck, and this kid was in like a big, like what you would like a Cadillac or something, a big heavy car from the 70s. Came burrowing over the hill, 80 miles an hour, right head smash right into my mom's truck. She's only like going 30. Yeah. I mean, she's medevaced. I mean, lucky to be alive. But she never the same after that. Then she got hooked on the oxycodone, pain. They never even fixed her foot. I mean, she had a club foot after that. She couldn't walk. Well, she died in hospice. My daughter went to visit her. I don't really remember ever going to visit her in hospice. I don't know why. But she died. And in hospice, that's what they do. They put you to sleep. I had another buddy. He lived here, Mark Montu, or Mark Freyer, whichever name he was going by at the time, But he came here to live. He knew he was dying. I remember when the hospice came over, he had suffering a lot, and he died. And went to hospice, and he wanted to die. And they put him down. They give him morphine, put him down. He called me up. He said, "Hey, man, you gonna come visit me?" I said, "I don't think so, man. I just wait till you get back." Well, he never came back. I didn't realize that, they put you to sleep when you go to hospice. That's what they do. They give you morphine. They put you to sleep. Instead of making them sick, morphine was making them sick. Yeah. Anyway. I'm just saying, my mom suffered till the day she died. She tried to make a comeback. But the lesson of my mom is, look, when she was a little kid, man, she got persecuted because she had to wear her brother's underwear. When she was a kid, they lived on a dirt floor. She lived up in the attic. She slept up in the attic, and there were bees up there, and it was hot up there. It was the only place for her to sleep. And she got stung by bees when she was sleeping. She had to wear boys' underwear sometimes, and when she went to PE, physical education, the girls would see her with boys' underwear on and make fun of her. Her dog Blackie used to walk to school with her every day. And she loved Blackie, and Blackie loved her. It was her dog. Well, one day Blackie bit a kid that was picking on her. And Blackie was put down for biting a kid that was picking on her. That's injustice. Okay? See, that's the kind of stuff that will make me punch somebody in the face. Take them down and kick the crap out of them. See? It's a pain in my heart. It's a vicarious experience. And it ain't even me. I was thinking about that today. Sometimes thinking like, okay, people, like my mom read me the story Crossing the Switchblade, me and my brother, by guy's last name was Wilkerson. He's a missionary, went to New York and stuff. And Nicky Cruz, he wrote a book too. I actually seen him talk once. But okay, Nicky Cruz got a knife out and said, I could cut you up to Dave Wilkerson into 1,000 pieces. I'd cut you up right now into 1,000 pieces. And Dave Wilkerson said, you know what? And every piece would tell you, I don't know if he said that I love you or that God loves you, or that Jesus loves you, one or the other. You cut me up in 1,000 pieces, every piece is going to tell you that. Okay, well, I could be like that sometimes, see. I could be like that sometimes. I could be willing to give my life for a cause that I believe in. I can do that. But, on the other hand, I'm like Hurricane Carter. Like, I believe in nonviolence, as long as you're nonviolent with me. Certain things I can't tolerate, see. And I will fight to the death. I'm just saying, there's kind of like a little switch inside. Some things, you can fight for to the death. Other things, you can give your life for. It just kind of depends on the situation, but your heart and your spirit, in me, that's what I'm saying. All right, I vicariously feel my mom's love for her dog, because I seen the picture of her dog that she had, and she wrote a letter on the back of the picture to her dog Blackie, because they didn't tell her that Blackie was put down. They didn't tell her that, when she was a little kid. But that's what happened, though. It had no choice. Because people with the money, see, if you got money, you got power. If you got money, you got say. I realized that early on. See, that's why when I talk about the stratas of society, we had no money. See? And people I knew had no money. A lot of people had no money. But there were other people that did have money, and they dictated. Well, I already got that picture. I already know that, man. I already know it. That's why I became so strong. That's why I worked out every day. I ain't gonna let nobody push me around. I ain't gonna be bullied. That's why I don't like Donald Trump. Because he's a blankety blank bully. A tyrant like Nero. The spirit of that man is destruction for the United States of America. His spirit is the destruction. He's an evil man. But you know what? Sometimes God puts wicked men in the positions of power. Yeah. That's the way it's unfolded in the Bible. That's what the Bible teaches. If you believe it or not, I don't know. Maybe it's all just a bunch of hocus pocus, maybe a bunch of bullshit. I don't know. I don't think it is. Why else would all these things be written down all through every year after year for thousands of years now? There must be something to it. Either that or we're all a bunch of naive, stupid creatures that are born out of phenomena that we can't even understand our own selves. Well, whatever it is. Eh, I love my mom. My mom taught me a lot of stuff. You pay attention to your mom. Because your mom is your mother. She's like Mother Earth. And the dad usually lets the mom lead. And if that ain't the case, the courts usually give the children to the mom. That's just the way it is. Because it's probably, I guess, the way it should be. I don't know. Means something. Your mama's talking. All right, bye.